morning.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-magob, it's time for the only news that matters on Black Sabbath Sunday. And despite being a member of one of the most popular metal acts at the time, it was simply not the same for bassist Rudy Sarzo as a member of Ozzy Osbourne's band after the tragic and sudden passing of Randy Rhoads on March 19, 1982. But when he hooked up once more with Quiet Riot, a band that Sarzo and Rhoads had previously been members of, to lend a hand in the studio, he had seemingly found joy in creating music once again. Only one problem: Sarzo was still a member of Ozzy's band. During an interview with Disturbing the Priest, Sarzo explained his state of mind at the time, and also how he had to make the toughest decision of his entire career. He said, "I thought we were making demos with Quiet Riot, because a standard studio for making a record like Record Plant or Cherokee or whatever, I did the session and I found a lot of joy with playing with Kevin and Frankie again. Something that I lost when Randy passed away. So I went to New York, I recorded the 2 nights at the Ritz live for the Speak of the Devil album with Tommy Aldridge and Brad Gillis and Ozzy and myself. But the thought of playing with Frankie and Kevin kept lingering. So I finished that, I go back to LA, and I make the toughest decision I ever made in my career, which was to leave Ozzy Osbourne. Despite some of the less than glowing memories that quite a few musicians have of either played in Ozzy's band or how they were treated by his manager, Sharon Osbourne. Rudy Sarzo offered nothing but praise for both Ozzy and Sharon. He says, "They treated me great, Sharon and Ozzy. They were wonderful to me, and I joined as a completely unknown, which was Quiet Riot, but I knew that I was going to find joy in making music again. And without that, what's the point of playing music if you're not enjoying what you're doing and loving it?" The subsequent album that Sarzo would appear with Quiet Riot, 1983's Metal Health, would top the Billboard 200 in the US, spawn such hit as Come On Feel the Noise and the title track, and it went 6 times platinum. Well, there you go. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, man. The whole Rudy Sarzo story is insane. Like, the guy is from down here where I live, from South Florida, and he later on here in South Florida met up with a drummer called Frankie Banali. They became friends, and they even went out and toured together and went to other states, and somehow or another they found themselves again, and then they both ended up being on an album that went #1 on the charts and went 6 times platinum. You know, this is an amazing story. You know, Rudy Sarzo is an amazing story. His whole, you know, he's a Cuban immigrant. He still has an accent, you know. He came here, you know, I was born in America, but, you know, I'm from Cuban descent, but I wasn't born in Cuba. And, but, man, and I've met Rudy on several occasions, and God, what an amazing, nice, true, the guy, I don't know, man, it seems like in life, he is fulfilled, you know, he's just so nice, you know, and to think, you know, where he came from, I mean, looking back on Rudy Sarzo's career, man, Randy Rhoads is who he has to thank, because who knows what would have happened to Rudy Sarzo if he never did join Ozzy's band, you know? Who knows? I mean, would he have been in Quiet Riot with Kevin DeBro, or You know, maybe he could have joined another band that just, you know, barely made a mark, like a Black and Blue or something, you know, and, you know, who knows? Or, you know, but all I know is that he got his foot in the door because of Randy Rhoads. And you think about it, man, to have your friend die, the guy just gave you a career, you know, to have him just die and you're there when it happens. I can imagine him being miserable playing those songs without Randy. It must have been pure torture. As he describes it, it was. And it was horrible. Trying to go on, playing these songs that Randy wrote. You know, it just crushed his soul doing it. But man, I gotta say, man, Rudy Sarzo is a strange case as far as bass players go. That, man, the first album that Rudy Sarzo's on, pictured and stuff, is Quiet Riot 2. He's on the album cover and stuff, but he didn't play on that album. Then you got Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. He didn't play on those albums. Then Mental Health, that's not Rudy Sarzo on the song Mental Health. That's Chuck Wright. And also I think the other ones, Don't Want to Let You Go. All right? There he finally appeared on an album. You know? Then, I don't know, Driver was before that, before Whitesnake, but man, Project Driver rules. I have that on CD and vinyl, and that's Rudy Sarzo with Tommy Aldridge and Tony McAlpine and Bob Rock on vocals. Great stuff, man, great metal, but you know, it was released independently on Shrapnel Records. And then what happens to him after that? He joins Whitesnake. But he doesn't play on the Whitesnake album. Ain't that all nutty? You know, I mean, I can imagine, you know, all right, it happened once or twice, but man, several times Rudy Sarzo ended up touring with a band that released an album with a different bass player. Wild stuff, man. Oh, and another album he didn't play bass on, but he went on the tour with, was Attack by Yngwie Malmsteen. He was in Yngwie Malmsteen for a while. He was also in Blue Oyster Cult. And he was also in the Guess Who. And of course, he was in Ronnie James Dio, the last incarnation of the Dio band. I saw him perform with Dio. So that, you know, really puts Rudy Sarzo in the Black Sabbath family. Because not only did he perform with Ozzy, he performed with Dio. And he performed with Vivian Campbell, who was in Dio. And he performed with, oh, you name it. There's a big, strong tie-in with Black Sabbath and Rudy Sarzo. I mean, Rudy's been around, but now he's carrying Quiet Riot, which, you know, hey, man, he's the only, not even original member, but, yeah, he's the only member of the classic lineup. And I saw it with Jizzy Pearl. It was great. It was fantastic. It's a tribute, though, you know. Gotta take it for what it's worth, but hey, man, more power to Rudy Sarzo. I hope he keeps getting booked for these Quiet Riot gigs, because the man deserves nothing but the best for being such an awesome person. Rudy Sarzo. I'll tell you a funny story about Rudy Sarzo back in the Mental Health days. Me and my friends would call his parents. They were in the phone book. Yeah, back in the day, kids, there was this thing called phone books. And his dad had the same name, Rudy Sarzo. So we would call him. They were the nicest people. When we would call, hey, is Rudy there? No, you know, in Spanish. And we speak Spanish. They would tell us, oh, you know, he's on tour now. You know, and he was. This was during the Quiet Riot days. But, you know, I mean, we didn't call, I think we called them maybe twice the most. And that's it, just to say hi and stuff. They were very, very nice people. And Rudy lives down here, you know, and I met him but I've never met him like around. Like, I've seen Yngwie Malmsteen at gas stations and at the mall. But Rudy Sarzo, no, I haven't caught him yet. But I'm sure I will eventually. But I've always met him at shows. And then there was this, what are those, like rock school type things where people play to jam with musicians. He was there and I hung out with him and Dave the Beast Spitz on bass. Rudy Sarzo rules. Anyway. So what do you all think? Leave it in the comments below. What do you think of the great Rudy Sarzo? What do you think of the great Speak of the Devil? See, that's not something I forgot to talk about. Was, you know, Rudy Sarzo didn't appear on none of those albums, but the first album he appeared on was Speak of the Devil. That's him the whole album. Where Metal Health, it wasn't him the whole album. Yeah, he was on Condition Critical. I forgot about that. But anyway, that's the first thing he ever recorded with Ozzy. With anybody, you know, it's the first that I know of. Maybe there's some session stuff, but I'm saying with him in a band, and what a great performance. Not only by Rudy Sarzo, who's so amazing on it, but Aldridge and Brad Gillis, my God. That was lethal. And to think they only had like a week or two to, I think even less than a week to learn all those songs and nail it like they did on that album. Because I think it's only Ozzy. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's only Ozzy that's touched up on that album. Like, the band is the band. Anyway, what do you think of that album? Does it rule as much as you think I think it rules? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you all for watching the only news that matters. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring that little notification bell. And like this video, because that'd be good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty, listen to Speak of the Devil, and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston, and so never more shall we see you again.